Welcome to the new version 10 overview. So today we're going to go through and compare your LMS from your version 9 to your version 10. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to play around in Stage. For those of you that may not know me, my name is Tommy. I've worked at eLogic for 2 years now. Prior to that, I worked for a client of theirs for 8.5 years, and about within those 8.5 years, I was the LMS admin on and off. This is me and my 2 little boys. I have 2 little boys, and we live here in Tampa with my husband as well. And just to kind of get a little bit about myself. And as an overview today, we're just going to kind of go through and look at from a student's view. And I want you to see what just kind of the things that it looks like. You'll find that it's I think that the changes that we made specifically to the students is very intuitive and it makes everything look a lot more cleaner for the students. And I think you'll find it's a lot better for your users, and find that it'll be easier for them to walk through and do what they need to do. Then we'll go through from the student view and look from an administrator view and look at the changes that are made for you. And mostly we've just moved some buttons on you and changed a few little locations of where those buttons may be. So I want to make sure I point that out for you, and so that you can find everything you need. And at the end, I'm going to go through the whole thing, and then if you have a question, you're welcome to chat it. And then I'll go at the end, and we'll have plenty of time to go through some questions in your chat. And then if you feel more comfortable, I'll open up the mics at the end, and you can ask questions instead of chatting, whatever you feel more comfortable. So with that said, let's get started. All right, so here's the login page. For those of you that are utilizing the login page, this is what the login page is going to look like now. So it's very similar. I mean, you'll find everything similar, just looks a little different and a lot cleaner. So all of the images and the content in your pages are responsive now. So depending on how big or small the window is, the content will adjust. You'll notice, you still have your branding at the top here and your branding at the bottom. The username and password has moved from the middle to the side here. So you have your username and password, you have your login. If you're utilizing the register now, that's there. And then your help is here. So it's all the same options, just moved over to the right. You could put a background image now. So you can see, if you wanted to, you can have a background image just so that you can have some more branding for users that have a different view. I'm pressing too many buttons. So those that have smaller or bigger monitors. So I'm going to log in as my login. Okay, so when I log in, you'll notice now it looks a little different, but still the same type of format. You still have your branding up here. I'm landing on my home page, so you'll see Tommy's home page here. You'll notice my name and the logout are over here. We have a new menu. So this is a secondary menu now, so the help and support are optional now instead of being mandatory and stagnant on the top right corner. You can put the same items that you have over here in the left menu, or you could put different items. So you'll notice I have the profile on both, or I did have the profile on both, I'm sorry. You could have badges, you could have them on both, or you can have it separate here. Sorry. And you don't have to have both the help and support anymore if you don't want to. The profile image now displays up in the top right. So if they populate an image, it's going to display there. They don't have to. It's going to be a little icon there that displays like a little person's head of some sort, which you might see if you log into Stage. The first page I'm on is your home page. So if you're familiar with that, it looks a little different, just in that you have the image now. So if you remember when you were browsing for training, you have the image option to put next to your curricula. Well, now it displays on your home page, and it'll also display if it's an item within a learning path. So just adding some more visual to the learner's view. The more details is over here as well. You'll see over here to the right. You'll see the name of the course still, the curricula name still, all that's the same. The registration date is going to be over here. And then over to the right, you have your next action, whether it's launch, survey, assessment, e-signature. That next action will be here. If you allow them to take notes, that'll be over here to the right like it was. You'll notice here I have an X. Now if I have an X here and I'm allowed to drop it, it'll let me drop it using the X. But if I have a mandatory course, it won't. The X will be disabled and the hover text will say mandatory. The next page I want to show you is the Learning Console, because that's changed quite a bit as well for the user's view. It just looks better, I feel like. You have the 3 tiles now versus the 2 that we had previously. Some of the actions are a little different. We used to have links on those tiles. This content wasn't always aligned, so things look a lot more aligned here. We've got the little X here that's still there. That was there before, but then this little folder represents opening a new page. So again, before we had a link here, now we have this little folder that allows us to open into the bigger page view if we'd like. So, you know, they still have the ability to move around. We don't have the add tile up here anymore. It's just this, that they can add new tiles. You see the little images. I think that's super cool. Got the little image here now for the featured and the badges. All right. And you'll, the icons are pretty similar here, I think. Yes. I just want to make sure. Okay, from here, I want to show you what it looks like when the user's browsing for training, whether they're using the Browse Catalog or Search Training. Oops, I said calendar. Whoops. Well, I'll show you the calendar since I'm here. So here's the calendar. It's very similar than it was. Just, you know, the color looks, the color blocks are matching your primary color versus that gray that it was before. You'll still have the more if there's more information. The list view is a little different, so I wanted to show you that. So if I use the list view, again, it looks a lot cleaner. Got the more of a grid now. And then if they need, they can hit more details or register from here or just select the little I and it'll get some more information about it straight from this page. They still have the filter options where they can go and filter for or search for specific instructors or facilities. Go back to Browse Catalog. And this page is all the same. I'm going to go to my category. And you'll see it's very similar to the More Details page. So again, just a little bit of a different look, but similar to what it was before. So again, I just feel like the only thing we did was change it so it's a little bit more intuitive to the user. Things are a little bit easier to find. You've got the more details over here. You'll notice now we got rid of, we used to have it where if I was registered for something, it would be the register option, but the link would be disabled. Now we actually spell it out and we tell them that they're in process. So it says you're currently registered and in process of this training. So a little bit clearer for them to let them know that they're already registered. More details has changed. So not only do you have more flexibility there in customizing the more details, which I'll show you in the administrative view, but you also now, it looks a little different. So you'll see it's kind of categorized out by these little charts. If you had more information about it, it would be displayed underneath the events. So this is a training session specifically, and it you'll see all the events that are available. And next to these events, I can select register, or I can go in and get more information about them. So if I click on the eye, it'll show me more information about it. So you still have your agenda piece and your description if you have a description, or contact information or notes. That'll all display here. And then now you'll see the physical location. It will show the map, so they can map their location and so they get directions. If you want, you can populate the instructor and the instructor's biography here and their image. This is our pretty Sherry. All right. They can register straight from here, go back, and select another event. You'll notice a lot of things are staying at the top, specifically buttons. So you no longer have to scroll to the bottom for your buttons or the top. You never knew some days where they were going to be, so they're always going to be at the top now, and in most it'll stay at the top so that they always have that option at the top to do their action. And now I want to show you the transcripts. From a student's perspective, you'll notice that there's some changes here. Still has the curriculum name, the registration date, the completion date. The type is a little bit more spelled out. The rating is it's not the star anymore. It's just a little graph, shows that they've rated it or not. If there's a score, the status is no longer an icon. We actually spell it out now, so they know what they've received. And then there's more details of everything that that's missing here. So we had version before, and some other things that may not be displaying on the grid itself. So if they hit details, they'll get more information about the course or the curricula that they're looking at. You'll notice that the learning path has a little caret now, so it's not going to automatically display all the items within it. They'll have to select a little caret to open it up. But it just helps them sort through their transcripts a little easier than what it was before. There's a little action over here. So if I have a certificate to print, or if I'm allowed to review my e-learning course or my electronic library item, then that launch action will be here. And then the last thing I just wanted to go over is the profile for the user. Oh wait, not the last thing. We have one more thing. Sorry. Here's the profile. So the profile looks a little different if you're utilizing the profile page. It used to be different pages for different sections. So we used to have basic information on one page, contact details on another page, and then other information on would be a third page. So now it's all one page. Your image is still 50 by 50, even though it's a circle now versus square. I don't know, but now that they're a little bit more there, then people might begin to use a little bit more. So it's still 50 by 50. It's just in a round view. And then the last thing from a user's perspective I want to show you is the external shopping page for our e-commerce folks. Okay. So when a user comes to their external shopping page, they'll go and they'll search just like they normally. This is all similar. They still have the branding here that you can brand. But when they search, you'll notice their items look a little bit more like the internal site where it showed the image here. If you wanted to have an image, you'll see that if you don't have an image, it will default with the first letter of the course name or the curricula name. And it'll just be a little icon there. And they can select more details to learn more information about it. And then the add cart is over here, and the price is over here. Everything's a little bigger, which is nicer. If they wanted to select an item, they would just select the add cart. They can hit the cart to continue shopping or proceed to checkout to complete their order. So that's a little different. The more the additional items of interest will display down here. I think before it was only on the checkout page, so now it's here. So this is more like your Amazon, your Walmart, your a couple of those places that you can shop online. This is what the view looks like today. All right, that's the student side. So now let me show you the administrative side. So as an administrator, when you come in here, we've hidden the menu on you. So hopefully you found it. If you click the menu here, the top left, it'll change to my admin menu. I did forget to tell you that you can always minimize your menu if you would like, so that it's just icons. And as the screen gets smaller, that will change. That will automatically minimize if needed. So as administrator, here are your typical menu items. So you have your user menu, your hierarchy, your curriculum, your report. So all of that's changed. All same functionality, just looks a little different. So now I'll go to, just to kind of show you user management. The user search page is the same. Everything's the same here, same options, but you'll see your search is at the top and it stays at the top. There's no more search at the bottom. Everything's going to, all your administrative buttons are going to stay at the top, just like the student. When I come to search for my users, you can see the profile now. You can click on your user, profile image, I'm sorry, not their profile. And now you'll notice when I'm in the user management, all this is the same. But up here, you'll have your submit in your back. We did remove cancel from some of the pages, if you've noticed. That's just because, you know, we don't commit anything to the database on most pages unless you hit submit and save it. So the back is the same as canceling. So we removed cancel and just left back on a lot of your pages. And then we took all the links that were at the bottom of the page and moved them to this gear. And they're in alphabetical order. Yes, yes, folks, they are. It's very exciting. So now we have your additional items up here to the top right, and depending on what you have open or not, they're all here in the top right for you to access transcripts. And transcripts are the same as the student view from an administrator. You just have your, obviously you can still see more information like what's in progress. But I did want to show you that in your action is where you can edit instead of clicking on the name like it was in the past. So you'll have to go to action and edit. And then it still looks the same. So you have your edit here. Yeah, that's now let me go over to user management. I want to show you order management. And for those of you that are e-commerce and using order management, I just wanted to show you that there's a little look, the look is a little different when you're adding a new order. So if I add a new order, it'll take me to my search page so I can find my user. Click on my user by clicking on their last name, and it takes me to my order page. And now if I go to select the curriculum, you'll notice this is different. There's a pop-up now. So searching for your curricula is going to be a lot easier. You can search by type if you want, or just search by name, or just hit search and it'll search for everything that's available. And all the rest is the same for that page. Next, I want to just show you course management, and it's the same for all curriculum management. Again, just the buttons. So we have our buttons are all at the top now. You have your drop, delete, back, and submit are all at the top. We have a new button called drop, and that's drop all in progress registrations. If you remember, you have the link at the bottom of the page that said you could drop anyone who's currently in progress for all of your curricula types. It's now this little button. And then all of your other links are going to display in the little gauge. Again, in alphabetical order. Excuse me. And a very new cool feature, I know everybody's been looking forward to this one, the details page layout. So on the more details, you can now customize it. You can hide things, change the name, So I know that a lot of you have been asking for this, so here it is. So now you can get rid of the manager's information if you don't want to display who the manager of the course is, or you can change the name. The ones that are grayed out are items like icons, so you can't really change the name, but you can hide them if you prefer. You can create templates so that you just drop down, select your template for that course. All right, next I want to show you theme management. So this is the biggest change, I feel like, the functionality-wise. So, you know, everything else is more just navigation, trying to, you know, your buttons are at the top now, your little additional gear icon instead of your links. So, but theme management obviously has changed quite a bit. You know, if we go live, if you went live tomorrow, if you've had an opportunity to see your stage, really the only thing that is a big change is this branding up the top. So yours is typically half the size. So you could go live tomorrow without changing anything if you wanted to. You can leave your branding halved, but really most likely you would want to change that header image. But other than that, everything else is transferring over, all the content, everything that you have set up, we are not touching. It just changes the look. It just changes the navigation. So that's those are big changes. And this theme, though, is going to make it a lot more customizable. So if you want to, take the opportunity to change the colors so that they're a little bit more fitting to your organization, you have that opportunity now. I mean, you could use the RGB, you can use the HSB, you can use the HSV. So, I mean, there's so many options now. You could go and get your color schemes from your marketing department and the numbers and plug them in, or they can do it, whichever's easier. So it's just a lot more customizable to you as the user, and I think that you're going to really enjoy this page once you get in it and play around. I know I have. I've been setting up new sites for training, and I've had a lot of fun doing the colors and trying to match the branding. So I think you'll enjoy it. The headers are a little different sizes than what you're used to. So, you know, the internal header is different than the external header because of this menu. It has to accommodate the menu for the internal header. And like I said, you could do a background image if you'd like I have here, or it'll default with the accent color. And then here's your report header still, your favicon, and all your items down here. So all that's the same. Another thing that's kind of different here is where the menu is. It used to be little tabs on your left side. They're hidden. I feel like it's a little hidden here right in the middle. So if you hit menu. So if I go to menu, we now have Bootstrap icons for you to utilize instead of uploading your own, or you can use the one that's defaulted. So you have some additional options now. So if you actually click on the little icon, it'll bring up the Bootstrap images, or you can hit new icon and upload your own image. You still rename your menu items. Here's where you designate if it's the primary menu, which is the menu on the left, or the secondary menu, which is your little hamburger up here. And you can have it for both. You can have one or the other. Systems is the same, except you have a new option here. You'll notice this enables advanced searches available. So if you ever we used to have it where it was a menu item here to the left. We've now changed it so you can have it up here if you'd like as an additional option for your users. And then the last thing I want to show you from a site administrator or from a view is the site configuration. So if I go to site configuration and really just navigation, when we all went to this page, we were like, well, how do we get to? So you land on your look like you always have, but your tabs now, the menu is up in the little additional gear icon here with all of your options in alphabetical order. And if you're going, and then, you know, with that new, and you don't have to do this, but with the new adjustable or responsive screen, whatever you call it, you can now make your images responsive. So if I go to Content Page Management, under Other Configurations, not Curriculum, go to Content Page Management, and I go to the login page, let's just say, or whatever page you're doing. I just have an image there that I know that's there. You can either do it in HTML, or you could do it, if you right-click on the image in there, you can select Properties, or you could do it right into the HTML, and you could make that the width of your image 100%. And you don't need the height because it'll auto-adjust. So just put width at 100%, and it'll adjust. And then when the user moves their screen, the image will adjust with it. And like I said, you don't have to do that at first, but you know, as you go, you'll probably want to get that set up so that it'll adjust as user screens adjust. All right, with that said, that's all I wanted to show you. So I want to open it now for questions. Are there any questions about our new version? Nothing? You guys love it?
Hey, Tommy, this is Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
I have a question about the favicon icon. Is that
yes?
How it?
Favicon, yes.
I don't quite understand how that's its purpose, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Oh, it
like,
displays
what does it
up.
do?
It's just a little branding for each of your pages. So when you go to each of your page in the application, that little image branding will stay next to your name.
Okay.
Of the page. Yeah.
And it changes for each window that you're on. So if you go back to, let's say, curriculum, that language will change also.
Yes. So if, for whatever page you're on, the only time it goes away is when you launch a course, and it's not in that window. But other than that, when you're in the application on each of the pages, it will display.
Okay.
Sorry, I blocked your view. Good question. Let's see. You'll see if the user, so when they're on there, stays with a little E. Any other questions?
Oh, I have one more question. I know that you can do a lot with icons now, and you know, with the old system, we didn't really use the icons that much. But if you wanted to, let's say, and you wanted to do it like a mass dump. Let's say you have, could you use, what is it, the DCE upload or something like that to do it all at once, or do you have to go into each record and populate the image for the icon one by one?
You are going to have to do it one by one. We don't have an upload at this time to upload any image. I don't know if they're talking about in the future either, but for right now, you'll still have to go through each curricula and add your icon. But it will default. I was going to show you. If you don't populate one, it'll default with an icon of the first initial. And of course, I can't find a course that doesn't have. There we go. So it'll have this little square with your primary color and the first letter of the course.
Okay.
I
have a question about the upgrade. Is that going to happen on the morning of those days, or is it in the evening? What is the time frame for switching everything over on the site?
Yes, it'll do similar to Stage, where we'll do it first thing in the morning on the day that you've selected.
Okay.
And so it should be Fridays if I'm not mistaken. They're like your typical build window, so it'll be similar to a regular update that we'll do every other Friday, or we haven't done one in a while just because of the version, but so it'll be similar to that process.
Okay, perfect.
I have a question about no, there isn't an option to re-register for that, the curricula from this point. We do have that launch where they can review or refer back to the course or e-learning course or electronic document if you allow them to review it on if you remember on curriculum management. You have that option to allow review, but they wouldn't be able to re-register from here. They would have to go find the course in their search. Good question.
Hey, Tommy, this is Hilda.
Hi, Hilda.
Hey, thanks for today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I do have a question. You know when you click on a course and it kind of pops out, can you go through where that is selected? Because I think you can also make a course just show up in a new tab as well. Has anything changed in that area?
No, because that's how you design your course. So if I select a course, I'm already in progress. Okay. It's just how you design your SCORM course. So we design it so it opens in a new window, but you are always welcome to design your course so it stays in the same window. It's up to you.
Okay.
That's not designated by the LMS.
Okay. It seems like there was something in eLogic like that you could have it, like the default was to pop out into a new window, like a pop-up. But maybe that's just all, so that's just all inside the SCORM object of the course itself.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? What do you guys think? Have you taken an opportunity to look at it? What do you think? Is it good? You like it? That was really high.
Yep, it looks really good.
Thank you.
I like it a lot better, especially not having the options clear at the bottom of the page, that moving up to the top wheel or whatever, that's a ton better.
Oh my gosh, it's so much nicer. Before, I feel like, especially from a student view, when we were browsing, I feel like some days the submit would be at the top or register would be at the top, and some days it would be at the bottom, and then some days it would be both. And it would just drive me crazy. So I'm so happy that we moved everything to the top. Now I know where to go.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm glad you like that. Thank you. No.
Another question I had, sorry, Tommy.
No.
In the transcript, has anybody asked for, like, I'm just imagining, because we're pretty new at doing this, but I'm imagining once you get into this a couple years that your transcript is really full. Has anybody asked, like, for folders of certain courses or anything like that? I suppose.
Like an archive type functionality?
Yeah, maybe it's an archive, I don't know.
We haven't had, I personally have not heard that request, but at this point I haven't heard it. So if it has been asked, it's not something that's asked often. We do have quite a bit of tenure clients. Melina, you probably have quite a bit of Marcus, and your teams, do you find that you have users that request that? Maybe even Fenton and team. I may have lost.
Sorry, Tommy, what was the question again?
Do you find that your users get overwhelmed by the content in their transcripts? Like, do you find that they ask for like archive type folders or?
Not really. I don't think a lot of our users view their transcript, unfortunately. So.
Okay. Sorry. And from yours as an administrator, you run reports, so it's just easier to view yours from the reporting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. It's one thing I was thinking about because we have people that will continue to do like pilots. You know, they have to do things every 6 months for their performance reviews or their just all the different trainings they do every year is quite a bit. So I didn't know if people got overwhelmed with lengthy transcripts.
Not that I'm aware of, but thank you, Fenton. Fenton's saying that he really likes the learning path because he feels that was always, you know, he said it's going to be a big help to his team because I know they use a lot of learning paths. So for him, that helps this. Okay. They still have this filter. I mean, if that helps at all, this helps them filter by like certain type of curricula. They have the export too, that they can export it into an Excel and filter it that way. Sure. So that might be helpful. I could throw it out there and see if it sticks, but so I can let you know if anyone finds that something we see down the road.
The display view and the export will probably help a lot with that. I was just trying to think down the line a little bit, and because they're not quite there yet, but our guys and gals are also using like doing quizzes over and over, and so I was thinking, oh man, their transcript's going to get full of all these quizzes that they have to take. So, okay, that's good.
Great. I could certainly use it on our test account. I've got like 10 pages of transcripts going through. I'm going, oh, forget it. I use this sort a lot too. So for them, you know, especially if they're taking the same course, I select the curriculum name to resort it in order so I can see all the different statuses I got for one course. So if I took it 10 times in my test environment, I could see them all together and then see all the fails and the whatever I got to kind of come up with that. And especially if I'm looking for, I had that actually with a client. I was doing some research for them and doing that. I use the curriculum sort name a lot or number to put it in order.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anything else you guys want to see? I don't want to restrict your view. There's something else you're curious about seeing, but really it's all the same. I just feel it looks like fancier, like we've moved up to the penthouse. All right. You guys have me for 15 more minutes, but I can let you go if you're ready to drop off. But I'm welcome to stay on if you have more questions or want to see anything else. All right. Well, thank you all for joining today.